If you're Myla
If I'm
here, you
ever
like a
heavy, try to
tight
make
guard,
sure we're
maybe
like
just
in the
in.
8-foot.
Yeah, you heard them talking about bringing it into the 8-foot. And what that does is not only does it take away that draw path, but it also counts as another shot stone. So a lot of pressure will be put on to the Kaufman team if this is
She has
made.
that yellow top as well, but I think the double right now is just kind of more of a easy bail for her since she's up 2.
And you hear Myla talking there, talking about
It's a
if she wants
15
to
out
leave
here
them
to tee.
the tap or the double. We'd love as curlers if we could block 2 shots at once, but you only get to throw 1 stone at a time. So she's going to pick the double, which she believes is more of a danger to her team.
4, 3, 4.
3.
You.
3.
So you hear 3-4, so it should end up just before the house here, really grinding down as we get to the
That's that wider path.
Okay.
So not quite going to take away everything, but it does take away an easy double there for Nicky.
Yeah. I just kicked out.
It looks like there still could be that in-turn double.
Still tough. Her weight was perfect.
Yeah, this one's almost a little more
like
dangerous for that Plett team as it is going to take away 2 of their shot stones and leave Nicky buried under cover. So might be a turning point if the shot is made.
It was better to overcurl and leave her the double.
I know. Then we wait.
Okay.
The double in the back too.
Okay. Yeah.
Important to keep the shooter
Yeah.
with the 9.
Okay. Nicky, trust it. Right to her.
Yes! Hard! Hard! Whoa!
Just going to sneak over the top.
Just a hair thick.
Yeah, a hair thick. It looked like it really came off that center line. So I don't know if she might have threw it a little soft or maybe it's just the center line, as we've seen rocks jump off of it throughout the week, but I'm going to give Myla a good chance to sneak in here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Hit and roll.
Myla's looking for a draw to the, biting the 4 foot for a 3.
Okay, yeah, just a hair less.
Yeah, she's just got to bite a piece
back
here.
4, we can bump it a bit.
And you know what? It's a good example that sometimes your stones aren't always your friends. You've seen that stone that came up a little light there is preventing her from taking the easy path into the 4 foot. So she's going to have to come kind of inside out here and grab a piece.
Like a 15-3.
It's not an easy draw. It's flirting with a lot of rocks in play.
Yes, and not to mention, you got to get a good part of the 8 foot here, and by throwing it this way, the more it curls, the more rings you tend to run out of. So,
Maybe the hair down.
Yeah. Room.
Fully.
5. Yep. Hard.
there we see the rock go, and this is where I talked about the more it curls, the more it runs out of room. Alyssa's going up to help sweep, a little pressure of a broom head. Gotta do a big drag.
Gonna come up just light.
Not gonna quite get there, but I believe it's still a score of 2 for the Plett team here, which will leave us tied going to end number 6. Teams are gonna go and have their 5th end break, and we're gonna play a few commercials. But until then, we'll see you in end number 6.
Just comes off. Round 'em up, move 'em in. No place for your saddle and cowboy boots after the Calgary Stampede? At Sentinel Storage, we are proud to provide you with storage solutions that safeguard your valuables. Whether you're moving, renovating, or simply require extra space, we offer convenient and secure storage that caters to all needs. Find the Sentinel storage you need close to home. For a free estimate, visit sentinel.ca.
Alrighty, and we're back. The teams are still into their fifth end break, and we get a nice look at you there in the booth, Daryl.
Oh yeah, but you were in the full frost.
Okay.
That was different.
I was like,
Yeah.
You were in a new pack.
sorry, you.
Well, welcome in some viewers. Sorry for the technical difficulty we had earlier. We had a few issues, but the morning or the first 5 ends
Is
were
that
recorded
number
and
2
accessible later on for
time
you.
now?
A little bit of a recap. We've had a blank end. We've had an exchange of deuces on the board.
Yeah, there's a lot of rocks in play here, so it's fun to commentate, and it's keeping it interesting.
We were mentioning earlier that this is a big game for both teams, with the loser of this game being done for the week.
Yeah, we're doing it for time.
Yeah, it brings a little bit more to this game, and we haven't seen it affect the teams too much. They still look calm and collected, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
That part amazes me. So much of the game is mental, and it's incredible how
No, I said
tuned in they
5
can
feet
be.
wide.
Oh, is that right?
Round 'em up, move 'em in. No place for your saddle and cowboy boots after the Calgary Stampede? At Sentinel Storage, we are proud to provide you with storage solutions that safeguard your valuables. Whether you're moving, renovating, or simply require extra space, we offer convenient and secure storage that caters to all needs. Find the Sentinel storage you need close to home. For a free estimate, visit sentinel.ca.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to some sixth end action here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage. We apologize for a few technical difficulties, and we welcome the viewers that are just coming in here on the Curling Alberta YouTube page and Curling Zone.
Ben? Yeah.
So far, we've had quite an interesting game, one blank, and lots of hard-hitting ends, so lots of good curling to be watched.
Both teams exchanging deuces in that first 5 ends.
Clean. Whoa, clean. Yep.
Both teams with lots to play for as well, with the loser going home for the week.
Clean. Whoa. Clean.
Yeah, and like we've said earlier, it's amazing to see how calm and collected these teams are with that. It's a big deal on the line there. You lose, you go home. You win, you keep going. So
Team Kaufman having hammer here with Team Plett sitting 2. Is it just a hit and stick around, or are you kind of playing for a very not as exciting end?
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna want to be. Your main goal is to make sure you hit it. A roll would be perfect. Kind of get those stones buds together and kind of allow for a blank if needed. It's the 6th end, and Kaufman's going to be happy to blank or even score 2, but you don't want to force it too hard and get yourself in a tricky situation.
We were talking earlier about how nice it is to have the hammer on the even ends. Is that still come into play a little later on as the game goes on, or is that more of an early thing?
Well,
It's a little more of an early thing, but it still benefits. It still benefits you throughout the game, as it allows you to, one, potentially have the hammer in that last end, which is a massive advantage, but it also allows you to have maybe one more hammer than your opponent if you have it later in the end. So it's something that all the top teams kind of look out for, but isn't the end of the world if you don't get it.
Chloe just rolling out of the rings there with her hit.
Yeah, you would have liked to stuck around and force Nicky to play something on that stone. I think they elected for a quarter guard here, as you have a chance for a deuce.
Room. Let it work. Five, six.
Just going to sneak into the rings here. Would have liked to keep that a little bit above.
We saw that early in this end as well, where rocks seemed to be gliding a little better than what they were thinking they might be.
You know what? They do have a mop in between the 5th and 6th end during the break, and what that can do is it can kind of quicken up the speed by a half a second. So teams are going to have to keep an eye on speed changes or different spots on the ice.
Hard to stick, hard piece.
Speaking of the ice, Matt, Yo, and Kyle have done a magnificent job with the ice here this week. I was able to hang out with them and help them out a little bit in putting it in, and it's the process and the work that goes into turning a hockey arena into a curling arena is unreal.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work and takes a lot of people, but it's so worth it to see this amazing surface that these players are able to play on throughout the week. And by having that great surface, it allows them to make a ton of great shots.
Easy.
Close. Whoa. Whoa. I think we're nosing. 10. It's a good throw.
Looks like we're going to exchange some hits for a little while here now.
Yeah, a little bit of a clean end here, and it's going to allow me to thank another one of our sponsors, Original 16. It is the official beer of Curling Alberta and the Ice Lounge here in Rimbey. As one of Canada's most successful regional brewers and internationally recognized producer of world-class beer, Original 16 pays a premium to make sure their beer is made with the best ingredients, and they have a brewmaster with dedication to education, experience, creativity, and craftsmanship. Curling Alberta would like to thank Original 16 for their continued support for those of you coming to the championship. Original 16 will be available at the Ice Lounge. So another reason to come and watch in person here in Rimbey.
Absolutely.
We're close.
We've got an on-ice Original 16 lounge, and there are some elevated tables, some standing tables right behind the sheets of ice with some fantastic curling viewing.
Stop.
Yeah, we're 8, 9. 9.
Yeah, you can see the lounge there, and even behind the scoreboards here, it looks like the fans can get right up and personal with these different athletes.
4, 6. Okay.
I think it's a joy for the fans to be that close, but I also think the players are really embracing it as well and enjoying that interaction too.
Well, even we seen earlier in the stands there with all those school groups to be right up against the glass and to see what's going on firsthand.
Mine's okay.
It'd be a great watching
Hair
experience.
tight.
There are some kids that
Mine's
are actually
good.
standing at the glass, making sure they
All
can see
you.
exactly what's going on. So it's
All
pretty
you.
cool.
Mine's good.
6,
Curling.
7.
All you. 15-6. Should be close. Good.
Good.
14.
And you know what? The
Melissa.
other cool.
No,
Oops,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, you're
The
good.
other cool thing is we have 4 junior teams here this weekend, so some of these curlers might not be much older than those kids you see in the stand. There's another look at them as we pan through the stands. Great to see all these young people watching curling.
It's all perspective. It was
We're just nosing.
interesting listening to
9-4.
some of the players talking earlier, and Alieski made the comment that it was 9 o'clock and what she would give for a Coke Slurpee. She wasn't looking for a drink of any other kind, but that Coke Slurpee was going to be very important to her this morning.
Yeah, and even moving on to Gasoline Alley there in Red Deer, I'll have to ask Chloe if their team stops by that. I believe they have a big candy shop there in Gasoline Alley, which
They sure do. So Myla just looking for the hit and stick here, Rhett.
10.
yeah, just gonna hit and stick and
10.
try to make Nicky hit one back. And
Clean.
you might like to get a little bit of a roll
Whoa.
and put it into a different path, but taking out the stone is number one priority
Good.
here.
That's good.
That's sweet.
You know, I brought up some of Curling Alberta sponsors, but we should also talk about some more of the local sponsors like E360s, Fortis Alberta, GLDC, Evergreen Co-op, the Town of
Seals
Panoka,
2.
Kiera, and Service Credit Union.
Oh my god.
Without
look at how many
all
these
of
big
these
things.
sponsors' support, this event would not be possible.
4.
The support that we've had for this event from the local community and businesses has been phenomenal, to say the least. It
It's good. 10-5.
makes you really proud to be from here and be able to do this for the community.
Close. Yes.
Yeah, it's so great to see all these generous companies and different people support curling. You can see our sponsors here at Curling Alberta, or even if you look onto the jackets of the many curlers, all these
I know, but if
different
we do
companies
here,
trying to
then they
support
could
these
be on our
athletes. It's
nose.
great to see.
I don't know if it'd stick actually.
When we were putting in the ice, I think we counted 22 logos on the ice, which says a lot right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even earlier when I talked about our bronze sponsors, it said that there are even some companies that might not have sponsored a bunch and had a community level sponsors, but are there to assist with the event. So even that is great to see.
Absolutely. We've got some companies that have been donating lunches and whatnot for our volunteers. So just even things like that will touch a long ways.
Well,
Actually, same weight.
clean. Clean. Clean.
Okay.
Just gonna bonk it right on the nose, and it's gonna force Nicky for a hit and roll to blank at the end.
I'm just don't want to give up the steal, so if anything, I'll be tight.
This is a path that Nikki's been down before, so she should feel pretty confident throwing the stone.
Nine. Yeah. Icing it tight to be safe, so you might have to sweep. That's what we're here for.
Looks like it's a little chilly in the arena. Both David and Blair have their toques on, coats done up, and
They've been like that all week. I don't think it's quite as bad as it was yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, there wasn't any of the girls that had taken their jackets off. So I think it's a little warmer this morning, but it's a lot cooler when you're just sitting there too.
Hard on the roll.
Gotta get a big roll to secure the blank.
It's going to stick around. That's a force. Team Plett forcing Nicky to take the one.
Alrighty, with the force, it's going to be Kaufman 5-4 over Plett as we go into some 7th end action right after a few short commercials.
You're kind of torn too early.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline Timeout has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Play Curling Alberta's 50-50. Support grassroots curling and win big with daily draws and the Briar Final Mega Jackpot, now over $100,000 and growing. Please play responsibly.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to some 7th end action here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Women's Championship presented by Sentinel Storage. After a 6 end, that's the first force we've seen.
That is just a slight miss by Nicky. Just about had the roll out, but it did hang on to fight the 12
All
foot.
you room.
Yeah, during the break, we were able to hear a really good comment, and they said it was better to do that than flash it. Which I love the positivity.
14-1. No, just no, just.
Also, a great point that Team Kaufman has brought up. Krista Helker during the break had mentioned that she believes one of her stones was a little straighter than the other one. So that's something the team's going to have to watch out a little bit.
11-5.
Is that something that they would communicate to Nicky then, Rhett?
Yeah, that's going to be something that they're going to talk about as a whole team, because not only is it going to change the line, but it's going to change the speed of that stone. So the sweepers need to know, the thrower needs to know, and the skip needs to know.
Hard, you got it! You got it! Stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. No roll. Sit. Just a little stuck.
Gonna over-roll there by the Kaufman team, but still in a good spot.
So for Team Plett, do you take that rock out, or do you ever just maybe freeze down to it?
Well, you know what? You're only down one, and there's not a lot of pressure here. Not to mention it's in a really good spot in the forefoot. So you're going to try and hit this one and roll away, and maybe you'll get a deuce or create a deuce, but you do want to make a play on this stone.
Yep. Hard.
A freeze wouldn't be bad. It's just that with how close the game is, you don't want something that precise.
It's good.
A little bit skinny, but it's going to stick around in the rings.
Force Nicky to deal with it.
Yeah.
Maybe looking to hit and roll closer to center again.
Yeah, you might see a little bit of a roll, but even a nose hit is good here. You could, if you back-to-back noses, will bring it up in the rings. It might give you a better roll later on, but contact is key here.
Curl. 10-5.
I do want to take this time to shout out our 7th end sponsor, Boston Pizza. For more than 50 years, Boston Pizza has a proud history of participating and giving back to the communities in which we live and operate our restaurants. The Boston Pizza restaurants of Northern Alberta understand the value of being involved in the community, and Boston Pizza is honored to be involved and support the community where it needs it most. They know the strength that is acquired from the community to host events such as the Boston Pizza Cup or the Women's Championship here in Rimbey. On behalf of Curling Alberta, we'd like to thank Boston Pizza franchises for being such a supportive partner in Curling Alberta and for being eager to find new ways to grow the game with us.
Sorry?
50 years, that still blows me away.
50 years of Boston Pizza is absolutely incredible. And that's not even just Boston Pizza. That's Boston Pizza being involved in curling,
I like
which is
a 50.
absolutely amazing.
But yeah, 5-2.
No, and I think I said the last time we were commentating together that I believe that's older than most of the field here at the Women's Championship.
That's probably the age of most of their parents.
Yeah, with all those junior teams, you could probably add up the ages and still not make 50.
Yeah.
So it's great to see all the young talent.
We're back.
Team Plett went a little deep on their draw attempt. And it looks like Team Kaufman's a little deep as well.
Yeah, once again, getting a little bit tricked by the speeds of the sheets here. We've seen that in the last end there.
They're on the fresh pebble again after that 5th end break, so maybe just a little of a bit of an adjustment time once again.
Lines
5,
okay,
6.
You know, I'm just looking over on Curling Zone and all of the comments, and lots of people are saying,
6,
how
7.
many curling
Full
streams are going
7.
on this weekend?
Whoa,
So I'd like to give a big shout out to Curling Stadium for
7, 8.
helping us
14,
broadcast
7.
this event. And, you know, having too much curling to watch
Just
is
7,
never a
8.
bad problem to have.
Yep. Hard.
Is there such a thing?
Hard.
You know, I would say no, but, you know, my family looks at me and they would say otherwise.
Just sitting back for Team Plett. And Nicky maybe coming to draw down to the tee line.
14-7.
Yeah, with that rock being
You would have been back 4.
pretty much buried there, you might see Nicky change course here and go to a little bit of a force opportunity.
6. Room. Whoa. Let me go. Got a curl. Follow it.
Team Kaufman is sitting
Not 5.
with 2 rocks in play, just biting.
Hard. Get a piece underneath. Hard.
Really good scrub by the Kaufman front end here. We've seen rocks that are hanging out that little bit wider earlier. Just sweeping out of the hand and bringing it into a different path. So still a good spot for the Kaufman stone though, as it has an angle onto the red stone.
Looks like it might be a little bit of a challenge
You
to try
think
to
that's
get to
hard?
the inside
The
of that
top?
yellow to push it back through the rings. So do you try to draw in maybe here, Rhett?
Yeah, a draw would be okay,
Yeah,
but
like, this
again,
is
that
pretty
yellow
exact,
stone
like,
is
you have to be
such in
dead
a good
nose.
spot that they should always
But
have
if
a
you
play
draw,
on
if
it.
you're over here, they just play this, and I
You might
have like
see a
no
little,
shot.
you might see a little hit and roll off of that yellow. It's
So
a
if you
tricky
come,
shot,
I
but
don't mind being half open then.
it does
Just so I
it
have
does a
something
lot
to
for the
use
team.
later.
Yeah, sure.
The other thing with the draw is, like Myla said, it kind of gives Nicky that chance at the run, which is going to make it hard for her
You
to
have to be
score
half at
a
least.
couple with her
so that they
hammer here.
can't
But
double.
Okay, like top 8?
they've
It sounds
elected
like she's almost assuming that
5.
Nikki will play that run back onto the
Yeah.
red, so she wants to put her rock in a place where she can advance it on her next shot.
Yeah, the caliber of teams is so good here at our women's provincials that
6,
these girls
5,
don't want to leave anything
5.
for the opposing team.
Whoa.
7, 8,
Lots of times
9,
you'll see that these teams will play each other on that
10, 9, 10.
on the curling tour throughout
You're not on
the
backing.
year.
It's dying a lot. 8.
They
on
know,
backing.
and they've probably
Yep,
learned
yep.
the hard way. All the teams have probably learned the
7,
hard
8.
way that if you leave someone
back.
something, more than likely they're going to make it.
Hard back. Hard back.
Okay.
Maybe a little deeper than she would have liked.
Yeah, a little bit of an unideal situation. So you're going to see Nicky draw on here
Okay.
and really put pressure on the Plett team. With those 2 redstones in the back 4, back 8, it's going to be hard for Myla and Team Plett to remove these yellow stones.
I think so.
Depending on where that rock ends up,
There.
would
That's what we thought. Yeah.
Myla ever
To the back
use that
door,
yellow rock that we
like
were
those
talking about
unders.
in the top 8?
Yeah, depending where this ends up, she might have a shot with that rock, but it all depends on placement. Wherever this rock is placed, there's a few different options for Nicky and her team.
8.
Whoa.
We talked about Boston Pizza Cup being one of our big sponsors, but I also want to thank some more of our local sponsors: Fire and Flood, Missing Link Internet, Baytex Energy, CBI Solar, Rimbey Curling Club, and New Country 95.5 and Zed 98.9. Thank you for your support of the Women's Championship.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. Good throw. Yeah, sorry, a little big on you.
So Team Kaufman sitting first shot for sure, and it looks like they're pretty close for maybe sitting third.
Yeah, it's a close one, and the nice thing about the stone just thrown is it's gonna allow for them to use that red stone as backing, so it's not an easy takeout.
That's a 14. Back line.
You know what? We'd love to shout out our friends at Curling Stadium for bringing this broadcast. And I just seen another comment here on Curling Zone that we have some viewers from the U.S. So not only do we have some Canadian fans interested, but we have people watching from around North America. So
Just a 6.
another great opportunity that Curling Stadium and
Just a
Curling
6.
Zone give us.
Room.
It was really fun to see, and I was not aware of this until yesterday, that all 4 sheets are accessible on YouTube, which is fantastic.
Just a 6.
Great draw.
Amazing draw. Now you're probably going to see Nicky cap this and force Myla to try and force Myla to that 1 point, but
yeah,
it's a shot that has to be made. And if it's not made properly, there could be a shot for the Plett team to put up a crooked score.
Good.
As a curling fan, this is when it gets exciting.
Just a hair more ice? Yeah. Five.
Looking for a little bit of a tap on that.
There's a big wave from our guys up in the booth.
We freeze on top. It's pretty hard for her to get to.
Yeah.
So, no tapping though. Just a freeze. Tolerance is short.
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. All good.
Hey, Nikki, trust it.
Looking to maybe tap that red back 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, the line.
Yeah, a tap wouldn't be a bad option, but they're just making sure they're getting in there so they can force that Plett team to take their one. A tap would be great to get shot out of it, but you want to make sure you're in a good position.
Sounds like they're going to be top 8, top 12.
Yeah. Just gonna go hard and try and get right to the stone. Really good scrub and a great spot for the force. It's going to force the Plett team to grab a good chunk of the forefoot for shot.
Looks like she's looking at her out turn. Is there any reason they would maybe not look at the in turn after they've been down that path?
I think they're going to take this path because it's very hard to watch or to grab enough of that forefoot on to that in turn path. So they're going to take this way and try to get as much as the forefoot as they can.
I think around the same weight.
And even more on the comments over on Curling Zone. Not only do we have people from North America, we have someone all the way from England cheering on for Team Plett. So reaching across the world here.
Five, six, you're going to have to scrub it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go hard, but also going to watch because as we've seen with the scrub, keeping it out wider, it might slow down the hair. We see Alyssa coming in, trying to use her little fresher of a broom head. Get as much distance as we can.
Hard, push.
Not sure if that's going to be there for 2.
That is close. Too close for me to call. I think it's for 1.
Yeah, 1 for sure, but we're going to have to look at the 2.
They might decide to measure this. Looks like yellow to me if I was a betting man.
Yeah, good sweep.
Yeah, I kind of want to say yellow myself, but the way the cameras are above the rings, it's very hard to tell.
I think it's a bit slower on that side.
But either way, what a scrub from Team Plett.
I thought you were hair down. Like I called a 4 for hand.
They were calling a 4, meaning that it would have been a top 8 maybe.
Yeah.
Top 12.
Oh,
yeah, around that area.
A long ways.
That's also my bad. Like
you know what? If this is here for 2, it might be a big contender for our moment of the game, presented by Sentinel Storage.
Since they were hairless, but
oh, looks like it's just going to be for the 1.
you can see
For the 1.
Still a great scrub from the front end of Team Plett, and it's going to leave us tied 5-5 going into end number 8. We'll be right back after a few commercials.
All right, what was it? 2? Oh.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next curling stadium.
Play Curling Alberta's 50-50. Support grassroots curling and win big with daily draws and the Briar Final Mega Jackpot, now over $100,000 and growing. Please play responsibly.
Original 16, a great way to celebrate things done well.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to end number 8 action here at the 2025 Women's Provincials, presented by Sentinel Storage, and an exciting last end.
There was a great sweep by Team Plett to just about get their deuce, but came up just out by a measure.
Yeah, didn't quite get there, but what a scrub from the front end of Plett there.
Right to her.
Team Plett sitting with a guard just out of the rings and another one in behind in the top 12.
11-5.
And Nicky Kaufman with a walk in the back 12.
Hard. Push. Hard to point it down. Hard. Good scrub. Okay.
Sliding tight on those.
Okay.
11.
Okay, wait, was good.
You know, we can say on Myla's last draw there that might have had just a little bit of a sandbag on it. Didn't quite have the way to go. And you know what? It leaves me a cheeky segue into this end sponsor. This season, Curling Alberta is pleased to welcome Sandbagger Hard Seltzer as their official seltzer. Inspired by those who will do what it takes to get an edge on the competition, Sandbagger is a refreshing seltzer crafted with natural ingredients and gin. Stop by the Ice Lounge here in Rimbey and pick which flavors you will add to your post-curling game ritual. Their grassroots history, combined with a strong commitment to family and their craft, makes Sandbagger Hard Seltzer a valued addition to our Curling Alberta community.
For a minute there, I thought maybe I was commentating with Chmpnshp.
Well, you know what? I thought about the segue, and I'm like, that's not fun to say. And then I'm like, well, we're just going to go for it.
Oh, that's pretty funny of you.
You know, if we're going to stick with the puns, it's quite the sweep to get it to work.
Yep. Hard.
Just going to miss the double, but a really good roll to keep it into the rings, I think.
I think it's just out red.
Oh, a little bit of karma for that bad pun.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably weird.
You know what? It's one of those.
From where I'm sitting, I can see just a little bit of white between.
Oh. You know, it's one of those things. We have this great opportunity to commentate and have pretty much a front row seat to this great curling action. Again, I'd advise anyone that's in the area to go down and watch. The tickets are available at the door online at curlab2025.eventbrite.ca.
Hold it. Hard.
I'm going to
Tight,
pump a few tires here and say that Rimbey is the second smallest community to ever host this event. So to be able to get 190 volunteers, but yet over 80 sponsors as well is crazy.
Yeah, that really says something for the town and area of Rimbey for being that small and having this much support and sponsors and volunteers. Not to mention, you see school groups coming in to watch and lots of. This is an amazing event for these athletes.
This is the Alberta Women's Championships, but for the community like this, it may as well be the Olympics.
Yeah, it's not very often you get to see these high-level athletes compete right in front of you. So it's an opportunity like no other for the athletes and for the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
Board.
Team Plett maybe looking for a little hit and roll under.
Yeah, just maybe something to sneak under.
11. Oh,
force Nicky to make a shot.
11. 10-5.
11. You know, we talk about the great support of Rimbey in the area, and it kind of brings me to bring up some of our platinum sponsors, the Rimbey Lions Club in the town of Rimbey, the Cooperators, Quality Inn and Suites, Rimbey Implements, Ponoka County, and Little Guy Incorporated Oilfield Rentals.
Little Guy is the company that has donated that fishing raffle trip. Valued at over $20,000.
Yeah, I guess we haven't talked much about that fishing raffle. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. There's a raffle, and there's 3 great prizes. For one, there's the fishing trip to Una Lodge. It's 4 days all-inclusive with flights included, and for 4 people. So you can bring your buddies and go on this fantastic fishing trip. That's prize number 1. Also part of that raffle for prize number 2 is a barbecue that was donated by GLDC. And third prize are a set of tickets to go see the Lion King in Edmonton, Alberta.
So not only do you get to take in the curling, spend some time at the Ice Lounge, and have a great time with the bands coming in, you also have a chance to win a fishing trip.
Line's good.
5.
That is.
All you. Room.
There's no reason not to show up and watch.
6.
Absolutely.
Line's good.
If you're looking for tickets too, you can get them from the Curling Alberta site.
6, 7.
Whoa.
Line's
Both
7.
50/50 tickets
7.
and
14,
the raffle tickets for the
7,
fishing
8.
trip are available there.
Okay.
Sliding just a little bit deep maybe, but still under cover.
That's okay.
Yeah, a little bit deep, but you know what? Like you said, it's undercover, so it's something Nicky's going to have to worry about.
Can you tap it and roll over? Can you come down quick?
What do you like here, Rhett?
Well, you're tied with Hammer. I don't believe those 2 stones in front of the 12-foot are in, so I don't mind something like a runner appeal. You're, like I said, you're tied with Hammer. It's late in the end. You don't want to get too dicey, and a blank would be great for you. But with those 2 yellows being staggered, it might be hard to go for a blank. You basically want to make sure you're not putting yourself in too much trouble in this end.
Would she ever just ignore that rock in the back 4 and maybe play around her staggered guards?
Like that 14.
That's a very good option, but the thing is it's very aggressive. As you're with only 3 rocks to come, then you're counting on your team to make a really good shot after that, as I'm sure Plett would just bring another one around the center.
It's good. Got 12. Back line. Yep.
They're looking to make a play on that red in the back 4.
Yeah, it looked like they're just going to throw a nice backline weight, just enough to push it out.
Go, 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 go.
Don't know if they're going to catch enough of this to push it out, but
good.
Just going to sneak it out of the rings.
It shows how lively the rock and the rings are.
Yeah, we've been able to see lots of great shots with amazing surface and the amount of curl we're getting, not to mention these lively stones. It's good watching.
I like that we got it all the way out.
You know, I highly suggest, although we are a little late coming into the live, that they go back and watch the first half of this game, as it was packed full of amazing shots and some intense curling.
I'll hit and roll on my
Sometimes I feel like the front end doesn't always get enough credit, but there was some fantastic sweeping in that first 5 ends as well.
Yeah, the sweeping on both teams here has made amazing shots for both skips. So I'm sure when they get back after this game to the locker room, they're going to be patting their friend on the back, and maybe for the Kaufman team, owing them a beverage. I'm not sure if the Plett team's quite old enough.
I was going to say, there might just be a Coke Slurpee for the Plett team.
Whoa! 10-5! Get hard!
Might catch on this back red.
Making good use of that red.
Yeah,
that's good.
A little bit lucky there, and it's one of those things that goes to show that something I tell a lot of juniors I work with is you got to watch the rocks around the ring, because it might not be in the ring, but it could be used as a catcher. It could be used to run something. So any rock in play is something worth taking into account.
Is Team Kaufman maybe now looking potentially blanking?
It looks like they're going to draw around here, so they're going to go hard for that 2, which I really like. You know what? That rock that was just thrown by Team Plett is way back in the 12-foot there, so it's not a big risk. So if Nicky can make a really good draw around the center here and get a deuce and 8, it's going to set him up for a really good last 2 ends. And once again, keeping that hammer into the evens.
Yep. Where are we? 3. 7.
You hear that's
Not deep.
running a little quicker than they would have liked. It might peek out the other side.
Hey, sorry, Nicky.
Looking for a little hit and roll under their own guard.
Yeah, you want to make sure you hit this for sure, but a little roll would force Nicky to play a draw to a small scoring area instead of just an easy hit. So
Plett looking to set up the force.
I like this ice.
You know what? To increase where our viewers are from, we have Megan Edwards, a big curling fan that I see on Facebook and on lots of live streams, is here from Ontario. And we just got a comment in that we have a viewer from Japan that is cheering on Team Plett.
Heck!
Lots of support for these curling Alberta teams. That is so nice to see. I'm sure part of that comes from them touring around the country like we were talking about earlier. Small tick.
Just going to tick it out, and it's going to leave a draw for 2 for Nicky Kaufman. And yeah, this Plett team has been very
Rip, that was so
has
close.
been very talented, and it's allowed them to go all over the world, and they've had opportunities to go to many places to curl. I believe they went to Prague earlier this year, and
It's okay, that's so close.
as that last comment said, they went to Japan at the
barely rubbed.
WJCC. So it's great, not only the amount of places they've got to curl, but through the comments, the amount of people they've got to meet.
That's just another feather in the hat for the sport of curling. The opportunity it gives these, I'm going to say kids, because really they are, to be able to travel the world and play a game that they love to play. Meet, like you said, fantastic people. It's a really neat thing.
Yeah, it's one thing about the curling community that I haven't found in any of the other sports I've played is it's almost like one big family.
Hi, girl.
We've got a final on sheet D. Team Martins beat Team Booth 10-3.
Well, with the final on sheet 3 and a 2 for Nicky Kaufman here, we're going to be going 7-5 into end number 9. We'll just go away for a few commercials and we'll be right back.
This is where the focus comes into play. Look at that. Canada, say hello to your new champions.
Proudly pulling for this generation of Canadians and the next for over 40 years at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston pizza at home.
Alrighty, curling fans, we're back in some ninth end action here. Last stand, Nicky Kaufman scored 2 to go up 7-5 against Team Myla Plett. Gonna force Myla to put a little bit of pedal to the metal here and try to go for a score.
Team Kaufman has one rock fighting the 12-foot, and Myla's opting to ignore that one and draw around the other side and try to take control of that side of the ring.
Line's good, hair tight.
Yeah, while the commercials were going on, it looked like the Team Plett was trying to go for a corner guard and made it come a little deep. Nicky tried for a hit and roll and stuck right there. So
15-1, 15-1, gotta be here.
Team Plett's just trying to get something undercover here.
Weight looks really nice.
Really good, Ali.
Beautiful draw from Ali Isky there. I think it's going to show out a little bit on the other side, but something undercover is always great.
Looks like Team Kaufman's looking to draw down to it and maybe give it a little tap.
Yeah, maybe a little tap or even just a straight freeze. Just shorten up that scoring area and make it really hard for Team Plett to put up that crooked number, as we've been saying. Team Plett to score one here is not bad for the Kaufman team, as they'd be going one up and hammer to 10, but the Plett's going to try hard to not let that happen.
Hard. First it goes.
Sweeping hard to get a freeze to it.
Good sweep. 6-1.
Not a bad spot.
Yeah, not quite a freeze, but it does shrink that scoring area just a little bit. And it is yellow onto a red, so there's lots of options for
I don't need
the
that.
Kaufman team here. And I don't want to take a moment
If you're
to
here, that's not a double.
bring in our ninth end sponsor here. It is Sentinel Storage. They've had a great history in Alberta from their humble beginnings in 1998. They have grown into the trusted leader in the self-storage industry. As a proudly Canadian company, Sentinel Storage is honored to be a part of this long-standing Alberta event. They are honored to support Curling Alberta and its outstanding athletes and the community around them. Curling Alberta thanks Sentinel Storage for their ongoing partnership of Curling Alberta.
Team Plett with a nose hit on that rock.
10-6.
Maybe looking to roll to the inside and tap that yellow off that center line.
Yeah, not ideal, but it does give something for them to use later on in the end or come around. But it looks like Nicky might want to try that slash double here. It is tricky for her, but she's also got to remember that an open house isn't the worst thing for her, as she's trying to prevent that Plett team from scoring a multiple. Not to mention, they also know that their tolerance here is hitting it a little thick, because even if you miss everything and peel it out, roll your shooter away, it's not the end of the world. Gonna stuff it a little bit, but it does roll to the open, so
That's okay.
leave some options for the Kaufman team.
Better than it was.
Not a bad result at the end of the day. Now Team Kaufman looking to maybe draw another one in undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Plett here is gonna try and sneak one in here, and you might even see them leave it a little bit open. What that does is it spaces out those red stones, prevents any run doubles, and also if there's a hit back, there's still lots of room to come in there with the draw.
Can't be behind the tee line on this shot though.
4-3. 4.
No, if anything, you want to be above tee and even.
Hard, you gotta be second
A top
shot.
8 stone isn't the end of the world here.
Hard.
But looks like they're going to get a little stuck here on the speed, and it's coming up just light. A really big scrug from Alyssa Nedowin and Ali Iskew.
Okay.
Not a great result, as it's going to kind of quarter freeze to the yellow, giving Nicky Kaufman a chance to hit and roll here and put a bunch of pressure onto Team Plett.
Okay.
I've had a chance to play this Kaufman team in a practice game, and one thing I learned from that practice game is don't give them an opportunity, because they like to take them and run. A little bit of the overroll, but it's going to be something that Team Plett's going to have to keep in mind, as we've seen earlier this weekend that those catchers can they can catch up on you.
Line's good.
More than Chloe's.
Hair tight.
4.
Hard line.
5.
Hard line.
Line only.
Hard.
Line only. 5, 6.
Whoa then. 6. Yep.
6, 7.
Whoa.
Line only. 6, 7. 7. 7, 8.
Whoa. Where? 14-6.
Okay.
One thing I do mention a lot, and it's because I love teaching and working with juniors, is if there's any juniors watching, there's a lot to be learned, or I guess even anyone that's trying to get better at curling, there's lots to be learned by watching these high-level teams. You watched as that rock came down the ice.
Quite a bit more
ton of communication from Chloe Fediak and Ali Iskew
we had to
to the skip Myla Plett, and even out of Alyssa's hand, she gave a little bit of information. That constant communication is what
just
kind of
ask
makes
for
a difference
more.
from these high-level teams to ones you might see at your local club.
I haven't curl like any this game.
You and I were talking at our last broadcast together that the importance, even at the junior level, to keep communicating.
15-6.
And even if you're not so sure, keep communicating. And the only way to get better at it is to be wrong for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is a lot of juniors come to me and ask, how do you get better at judging a stone? And the simple answer is you just got to do it. You got to do it a lot, and you can't be afraid to be wrong. I had mentioned that I'd heard on the Kevin Martin curling podcast that Brett Gallant said when he started, he's one of the best judges in our game, and when he started, he was wrong a lot. But the more and more you do it, the better you get, and the more confident you get in it.
Whoa! Clean, clean, clean.
No lack of gusto from Melissa Nedowin. Gonna clear up the center.
It does expose now that yellow rock just biting the button.
That's good.
If you're Team Kaufman now, do you try to guard it or
tight.
Or maybe come down right to it?
Yeah, I like the guard because it's gonna force Myla Plett to make a move eventually. You keep guarding at, eventually gonna have to make a move. Because that Yellowstone, although behind the tee line, is in a really good position to force Plett to wander, even to get a steal on a miss.
They mentioned 16 and a half for a time. So would that take them to maybe a tight guard or halfway?
Yeah, that should be about a tight guard. A good rule of thumb that we've found as curlers is every half second tends to be around 6 feet, or I can't remember if it's 3 feet or 6 feet.
Okay, good throw.
Really nice throw there. It's a little higher than Nicky would have liked it, but it is still in the way for Team Plett. The high guard does allow Myla to play a soft weight to get to that yellow.
Almost could have been in.
Pardon?
Can they ever get down to the inside of that with maybe light hack weight for a tap back?
You know, I think there's a really good chance for them to get to the
If we
inside.
freeze, they're gonna freeze on top.
I know, and then we have.
They can miss the back red, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
We could
I
play
think if
back
you
like,
get enough inside to miss the back red, you might roll open. So you might see them just play a simple freeze
The
here.
guard's so high, you could get it either way.
So are we going for bumping it back to be second shot, or are we going for just bumping it back to like here?
I think if we
You
bump
might
it
see
back
a
a little, we
timeout
need to
called
play
here.
the
We'll
out
see what
turn.
happens.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier in the game, they only get one timeout this year, so although they
Yeah.
have a lot of time banked,
The angle's better than
you
that
might
it wouldn't
see the
run back
timeout
quick.
call so they can take some time to talk about this.
I'm gonna throw the intern.
Okay, yeah, I like
back
that.
about a foot. I'll move it a foot. Yeah.
Oh, timeout, timeout.
Coach Nedowin was giving them the signal for a timeout, maybe not necessarily liking what they were deciding.
Back four.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision here because you're in kind of a tricky situation. You're in the ninth end and you're 2 down. You want to make sure you score here because it's, and if you are going to score, you want to score 2. You don't want to give Nicky Kaufman a chance to be 1-up with hammer and 10. So at this point, there's not really a blanket play. So they're gonna have to go hard for this too.
Okay.
Like heavy draw.
So in order to give ice. I know that. But super straight.
So they've moved to the other side of the ice here, and maybe in looking for a little bit of a heavy draw.
They were like, no.
Yeah, the nice thing about that weight is it gives a lot of opportunity to your sweepers to manage it down the ice. And they're going to get good movement.
Yeah.
They are going to have to watch on this side, though, because we've seen teams, both teams here, get a little caught on this side of the sheet.
There is a blank sheet beside them, so that definitely would come into play.
Yeah, that's this side of the sheet too, I believe. So it's gonna make it so that this side might be a little slower and a little straighter. So these teams have been probably communicating it all game, but it's something they're gonna have to take into account for this draw.
One more thing too is the ice could be changing just a smidgen more as both sheets on this side of the ice are empty now.
Yeah, that's one of the things is you can be one of the best curlers and have the best technical aspects ever, but not only is the shots always changing, but the ice is changing too. Really hard scrub.
Going hard for line. Great sweep by the front end.
Good.
Really nice sweep.
That's good, Myla.
Good sweep.
Great communication from Chloe and Allie as well, letting Alyssa know exactly where that rock was weight-wise.
No. Like Alyssa called us off.
You know what, as Nicky slides down the ice, I want to take a final opportunity here to thank our diamond sponsors here at the Women's Provincials. Turbine Tech, Reynaldi and Sons Contracting Ltd. They have been big helps here in making this event run smoothly.
Well, if you can. Okay, line's good.
Coming down, 5.
Still room.
Looking to sit right on top of that red.
Line's grip.
Yeah, sit right on top of the red and really shrink that scoring area for the Plett team. We heard a 5 there, so it's going to take a big scrub.
It's going to be top 12.
Might have got caught a little bit in that slide path, as we've talked about in past broadcasts, where as the game goes on and people are sliding over kind of between that forefoots, it tends to wear down that pebble. And you tend to see that those areas kind of stick up a little bit and don't run as clean as you might expect them to. And depending on your rocks, different ice surfaces, they might grab and curl more, or they might run a little straighter because there's not as much.
No, you would have been
there.
back button, or back 4.
Okay, you have to be 2.
Allie's throwing a similar path here than what she just threw. She's coming a little wider, which means it might be a little heavier just on this path. Communication will be huge on the shot.
Yeah, taking a hair more ice, but should have a good feel as her last draw was similar to this. You hear Allie's Fedic say that quite a bit more, so gonna have to keep an eye on it.
All you. Back 4, back 8. Whoa!
Coming down.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You could hear them. Yeah, plan B was try and play the tick.
I heard back 8, so plan B was a tick, but you know what? It's a draw for 1, and we're going to go 6-5, leaving Nicky Kaufman 1 up with hammer into our 10th end.
Yeah.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back. We are in some 10th end action with Nicky Kaufman versus Myla Plett. Nicky has a big advantage here, being one up with hammer, so lots of rocks are going to be in play, and it's going to be an interesting end.
Team Plett came in with their first rock and put up a nice centerline guard, and Nicky immediately decided to come around with a nice rock right on the 4 foot, right behind cover.
Yeah, to ensure a steal, we're going to see Team Plett here try to put up those double centers, a nice low and a nice high one. And Nicky's going to come around and try to take away that scoring area to prevent that steal. This rock's running a little deeper than they would have liked it. And a little too close than Team Plett would have preferred, but 2 centers nonetheless. We see about 6 minutes on the clock for both teams, so lots of time here for this 10th end. I believe the Kaufman team still has their timeout, so
that's right.
There'll be lots of discussion here in this end.
They will. 6, right to it.
Hard curl, hard curl, hard, hard.
Really good scrub to put middle rocks right in behind those centerline guards.
Great scrub in an amazing position there, making it really hard for the Plett team to score here.
If you're Myla now, do you try to maybe tap that rock off the center line, or are you trying to maybe come down to it?
You know what? I think you're going to come down to it. If you see a tap, you're going to see Nicky Kaufman rather blast your red out of there or try and make a move. So you're going to see them just try to come to it as they know that Nicky's probably going to be throwing a peel on her next one. So that you're basically trying to set up for your last shots in the end.
Just a 5. That's a 7. Yep.
Rock's got a curl.
Hard.
Yeah, got a curl. Okay. And just a little bit of a misjudge there. You see them just a 5, but it's the last minute they thought it was a 7. So would have liked to freeze that really nice on there, but
Nicky will look to double peel these rocks now.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing there is Ali's attempt on the double centers came a little close together, so it's going to make this double peel really not easy, but it's going to be easier than it would be if they were more spread apart.
Curl her hair.
Just missed the double peel, but still able to get the top one out of play. It's incredible to me how these petite girls can generate so much speed and momentum on that rock.
Yeah, we've seen, especially from this Plett team and Alyssa and Edwin, is a lot of these ladies out here aren't afraid to throw the high, hard ones. Even Chloe here, I've seen back home in Sherwood Park throw some big weights, so it's a little scary if you're playing against them.
Just a 1, 2, 1, just a 1.
The 1 being just over the hog line and off?
Yeah. Should be just over. I'm going to try and keep as much separation of those 2 guards as they can to prevent Nicky from having another chance at the double peel.
That's good. Good, Chloe.
Little higher guard than the first one, so it's in a little better spot.
Yeah, really nice second center there for Chloe. That's kind of what they were wanting on Alyssa's first 2 stones.
Come on, 9 or peel.
Same way.
It's gonna force Nicky's team here. They're only gonna be able to get 1 here instead of getting both. Because by trying to get both, you would more than likely leave your shooter.
Clean. Yep. Clean.
Nice job, and I'd imagine that Myla will just go to replace that guard again, or does she look to maybe come in now?
Yeah, she's probably going to think about it, but I think they're going to put... I would probably put 1 more guard up, but we see Myla electing to play like a back 4, T-line back 4 weight here to try and bump that red back.
Line's good.
7, 6,
Close.
You know, if it was a tied game, you might see Myla wait a little longer before making a play on the red, but these high-level teams know the statistics and know they're going to need to steal multiple here, because going into an extra without hammer.
Just got a tick there. The front end doing everything they could to keep that rock straight.
Yeah, big scrub there, but just caught a little bit. Going to make it really tricky for this Plett team to get their score this end.
It's in a usable spot, but I'd imagine Nicky's just going to make that rock go away.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised to see Nicky try and rip that peel and maybe catch a piece of it, but
Nose is great.
they are sitting in such good position. You might just see Nicky hit that top 4 stone or even the one that you were talking about.
Grand like you can.
So we see Nicky going for this one in top 4, and I really like it because that's, if you can sit on the nose here, it's making it really hard for the Plett team to get in there to score, and it's kind of your danger rock in this situation. The other thing is if they're holding out a little wide like it looks like this one is, they're going to catch the top one. Would have liked to miss their own yellow as it kind of opens up that area for Plett, but
a little bit of a break for Team Plett.
Yeah, big break here for Team Plett with a Team Kaufman that has played super well these last few ends.
Covering the red. Yep. Yeah, 15.
Do you like coming around this side, Red, or would you ever look at coming around the intern side?
You could look at coming around this way, but I think, or the intern side, but I think this is a nice way to come around because you, with that nice draw weight, you might even be able to get to the inside of the red and flop it in.
Just over.
There's not a lot of angle.
Looks like she's throwing another guard up.
Hard, Allie. Over and off. Over and off.
Okay, good.
Really good shot to cover up the red shot rock in the top 4.
Nicky opting to peel that guard out.
That's good.
We've got a final on sheet A. Team Shannon beating Team Phillips. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not a final. They're in a timeout.
Oh.
Still in the 10th end. I'm getting ahead of the game here a little bit.
You know, I got to shout out that Shannon team. They've had an amazing week so far, and I believe their first game out, they won against this Plett team.
They beat Team Plett, and I was telling you earlier, they've played 5 of the 6 draws already so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be exhausting, but they're coming out strong and they're playing super well.
I don't know if we'd ever win.
Are they one of the junior teams you were talking about, Rhett?
Yes, I believe they play on the U20 tour, and we've seen them around a couple events. And I always joke that I'm happy to see them on the women's side because they look like a tough team to beat.
Myla looking to draw around the outside,
2.
maybe fight the T line.
2.
Or no,
Tight
putting up another
2.
guard.
Tight.
2, just a 2. Over and off.
Yeah, just another guard. They're gonna.
Off.
They know that they gotta make sure they at
Tight
least
2.
steal one, so they're gonna probably guard for their lives here until the very last. This one's gonna move a little bit more than they would have liked, leaving that redstone accessible.
10.
Does that red rock ever jam on that yellow one in the back 8?
I think if you play a softer weight and try to get They're looking at it right now, but if you play a softer weight and try to get as much of the stone as you can, you should miss it.
Needs to finish the bird.
But I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to put a commentator's curse on.
You gotta try to stay kind of there.
You should be able to hold it here.
Oh, how are we gonna roll under?
We had talked before the broadcast about a game I did at the U18 provincials with one of my friends playing, and
What are you thinking?
I'd mentioned how he got one on me, but I put a commentator's curse on him, so I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Close to nose as we can.
Yeah. Once you buy the guard, you can sweep for curl.
Okay. Halfway.
For those wondering, commentator curses are real.
I really like what Nicky said there. She said once you're by the guard, go hard for curl. That ensures you're gonna get as much of that stone
It's good. Hot.
as you can, and you might even get a little bit of a flop in.
Having that communication early allows the sweepers to be ready to go as soon as it's by.
Down under the hound, and so it looks like we're just gonna bump off the guard.
That's okay. Okay, that's all right.
Myla gonna guard again here, Rhett?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, I heard them talking about how that draw is a really tough draw, especially because there hasn't been much play to that side of the sheet. So I think they're gonna guard this one and ensure they're one and hope to go to an extra.
On that draw as well, there's a high yellow guard
Same weight.
right above that Cooperators logo that comes into play if you're trying to play that intern draw.
And the other nice thing for Team Plett here is they've just seen this line and they know the speed, so they're going to be really confident in placing this guard.
Two.
Weight's good.
Two.
Weight's good.
Room. Two.
So you hear
Sounds like
two
the weight's good.
Yeah, halfway guard.
Two. Hard, Chloe.
Lots.
Hard, Chloe.
Sweeping for line.
Oh.
Really nicely placed guard.
Really well managed down the sheet. You heard great communication on the weight, and then Alyssa calling room, which means they were a little wide and had to curl. So amazing management on the sweepers on weight, and a great carve to get it back over by Chloe Fediak there. But it looks like we're going to have a timeout for Kaufman here.
Probably not a bad use of it. Look at their options and see what they can do to try to either get rid of that red and score their one for the win, or I guess they're going extras.
That draw's tight for line.
Yeah, the nice thing is they've banked a lot of time too as well, I believe. So they should have a lot of cushion to talk about this shot. If you're watching at home, you might kind of think that, oh, it's just a easy draw for the one, or just a soft weight onto the red. But these teams are going to talk about different lines and paths and different speeds of these paths, especially because they haven't played the one side of the sheet as much.
We were talking about how much these rocks are curling, so you can see that high yellow guard that would maybe come into play, or they would have to very much so flirt with that guard to draw in on that intern side.
Yeah, the tendency you find here on arena surfaces is that curl. There's a lot of curl, but that curl is late, so it's gonna hang out far. And like you said, that top yellow guard is really in the way.
There's no hit and roll up this.
You can't see it.
Which is why you would have seen Team Kaufman, when they made that peel earlier, try as hard as they can to roll it as far as they can.
That's easier. I'm worried about
That last guard that Myla put up was just placed perfectly.
If we go an extra, we go an extra.
Yeah, you don't have to stick.
They're looking at the in-off, maybe off their own yellow.
It's there for sure.
This reminds me of a Rachel Holman kind of shot.
Yeah, you know what? Rachel's probably one of the best of those big high weight shots, and she makes a lot of them. Even on the men's side, you see Kevin Cooey. A lot of teams are scared to leave guards out here like this because he makes these shots a lot. And like I said earlier, I've played Nikki in a practice game, and she is a team that you don't want to give an opportunity to.
So she's looking to angle raise this rock onto Team Plett's red, fighting the 4-foot.
Yeah. And with the other stones, her other yellow stones being in the house, she just has to make contact on it early in her hands.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Keeping hard for line.
Just gonna miss it, and it looks like we're gonna be going into an extra. A super exciting game so far for this Kaufman-Plett matchup.
Okay. That's right. Close. Yeah.
We will go to a short break and be back for the extra end.
Hey, we're here. That's why we love curling. Okay.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Play Curling Alberta's 50-50. Support grassroots curling and win big with daily draws and the Briar Final Mega Jackpot, now over $100,000 and growing. Please play responsibly.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to some extra end action here at our Kaufman versus Plett game. It's been an exciting game so far, and a lot on the line. As we talked about earlier, the loser of this game is going home, and that's the end of their provincial week.
Team Plett put up two really nice center line guards on Team Kaufman's first rock. He ticked the center line guard, meaning that rock could go back into play, and her rock was moved to the back.
Stay close, go.
Yeah, and that's a massive bonus for Team Plett there, as it's one less Kaufman stone that they're going to have to worry about.
Sit, baby. Sit.
This one's going to go a little deep, maybe, and out the other side. So if you're Team Plett here, are you making a play on that? Are you maybe trying to hit and roll underneath, much like what she did her last end, or what are her other ideas of maybe what she could do for a shot?
You know what? You still have two very nice guards, so you're going to want to come in here. They're rather going to come to it, and a little bump is okay, but they want to make sure that they're not leaving their rock open. So they're going to play a nice draw weight and try to get under.
6.
All you.
7.
Good.
6.
Room.
Weight coming close.
Yeah.
6.
You hear that? You hear that 7, so that's a really good sign to hear.
Hard.
Coming down a little bit.
Hard to
As it grabs that slide path, it's going to grab a little more and lose a little bit of weight.
Right to it, right to it,
But
right
Alyssa
to it.
and Ali are sweeping hard to get it.
Okay, good.
We talked earlier that now all the sheets are empty, so I'm sure the ice surface might be getting a little heavy and a little straighter, Rhett.
Yeah, without all the other action on the other sheets, you're going to start seeing the temperature kind of come down, and it's going to affect the ice. It's going to make it that little bit slower and that little bit straighter. So teams are going to have to be on that.
Good throw.
Nicky looking to peel the top guard.
Yep, she's just trying to keep everything as clean as she can and keep or always make sure she has a way to the forefoot. It's the extra end, so she doesn't have to try to score 2 with her hammer. She just needs the 1.
If you're Myla now, are you maybe looking at replacing the guard, or are you looking to come in and make a play on that rock on the button? That's just maybe a little too early.
I think you're going to want to replace the guard because they're kind of your lifeline
2,
here.
3.
They're kind of your lifelines here, and without the guards,
All you.
you're never gonna take or bring that
It's a
steal.
2.
So they're gonna try and guard as long as they can until they're forced to make a move onto their redstone.
Really nicely placed guard once again. Maybe a little over curl,
good,
but
Chloe, good
still
weight.
forcing Nicky to make a play on it.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see Nicky peeling it off
No, I
this
think
way. I
2,
thought
3.
she might go the other way and try to get both going, but
we never said
still
that.
a good
But
call.
still,
Peel
yeah.
the top one.
I thought it was maybe a 3. It died a lot.
Bit of a break there for Team Plett.
Yeah, a little bit of a break.
Capitalized here.
You can see all the passion coming out in this Kaufman team.
I still like
These
a
girls
guard,
know
I
what's
think.
on the line, and you know what? It's the difference of your dream of playing in the Scotties for Alberta and going
like a
home.
2?
So
Okay.
it's a massive game here.
15-5.
Do you like the staggered guard here maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I like any guard here because you want to stagger them a little bit, so there's not a double peel or anything, and so you're making
2.
the Kaufman team come
Weight
with a
looks
lighter
good.
weight.
2.
Yeah, weight's really good.
Tight 2. 3.
Just a 1, 2.
2,
Over
3.
and off.
2.
Here are 2 3s.
2.
So it might be a little deeper
2.
than they wanted. Now they're saying a 2, so a really good guard.
That's good.
It should finish up here right at the end.
Good.
You mentioned that very late curl on this arena ice.
Looks like Nicky's going to have to do a little bit of housekeeping, as I call it, because there's a lot of red here and not a lot of yellow. And like I said, she's got to keep those paths to the forefoot open. You're playing in a high-pressure game, and you don't want to give yourself too difficult of a shot at the end.
She's really doing everything she can just to set up her last shot.
Okay.
Gonna just get the 1, but that's still good. Any less guards in this situation are good.
Myla looking to replace that guard, maybe get it a little tighter to that center line.
Face back into this, and then we lose everything, right?
Okay, same weight.
It's a hair less.
Would you like it up closer to that yellow guard, Rhett, or does she want to be behind that?
You know what? You want a higher guard here because
Hair
anything
less.
close
Hair
allows
less.
for Team Kaufman to maybe get multiple guards out of one peel. So
2.
you want to make sure it's a higher guard, but you also
Yeah, just a 2.
You also want to stay a little bit away from that yellow to prevent a double on there, because
Tight 2.
Nicky getting rid of her own yellow even helps her in this situation.
Little deeper maybe than she wanted, but the line is a little nicer as well.
Yeah, a little deeper allows for a double peel, but you know what? It's staggered and it's close enough that it's still doing its job. It still forces this Kaufman team to clean up a little bit.
Same way.
Peel.
Whoa. Curl. Okay.
Man.
Still just that top guard being taken out.
You kind of see a couple there. They're getting caught on running a little straighter than they would have liked. We talked about it without these games on the other sheets. A little slower, a little straighter. So I think he's going to have to take that into account for her final stones.
So you see Myla thinking here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just put the guard back up? You were looking at maybe coming back to the tee line?
Well, the nice thing about drawing in here is it puts a lot of pressure onto the Kaufman team, and if you place that guard, you're gonna give Nicky a free draw into that 4-foot, which is most likely what she's gonna have to play on her second shot. So you almost give her a practice shot. Not to mention if she makes it good, then it's not great for Team Plett. So you're gonna see her kind of draw in now and put a ton of pressure on the Kaufman team to make something really good.
Even though one of the guards is yellow, there's still 2 nice center line guards for Team Plett to work with.
Yeah, it goes back to what I've talked about a lot, that just because a rock's your color doesn't always mean it's your friend. That yellow is kind of in the way for Nicky there, so it's kind of helping the Plett team more than the Kaufman team.
Looks close.
Close. All you.
5, 4.
Little look at the stands. It looks like lots of people got their blankets on now. With
3,
only one game on the
4,
ice, it looks
3,
to get a little more
2.
chilly.
It is a little cooler, but it's great to see so many fans still sticking around.
4.
Oftentimes you see as cheats finish up, a lot of the fans tend to go with them.
Oops,
But it's
yes.
good to see so many still here.
It's okay.
So you see Myla's draw come up a little bit light there. Not a bad thing, because it still staggers those guards, but it is going to give Nicky this free practice draw. And if it, like I said, if it's made really good, it's
What do you like for speed?
it's going to be tricky for the team Plett to deal with, sit for their one.
Make it good. Yeah. Top button.
Myla,
So,
would it maybe like that rock to be a little further to the wing to block that draw path a little bit?
Yeah, if she would have, in a perfect world, if she was coming up light, she would have been, like you said, a little closer to the wing. Not only to block the draw path, but to also leave it usable for her next stone. With those stones being staggered now, it's if Nicky makes this draw really good, it's going to be hard for Myla to use her own stones or even to get in there to beat her.
Roll it off.
The girls are really sweeping this rock.
Really big scrub. A little bit of a bounce off, but you're going to see it's going to push that redstone almost guarding the other half of their redstone top 4.
So that rock not ending up in a great spot for Nicky. It's taken that slide path away a little bit. So now if you're Myla, are you maybe looking to guard the other side? Or are you maybe to look to beat her into the 4-foot?
You know what? I really like what Alyssa just said or tapped there, was that right up their top 12 to take away that draw path.
I
because
definitely like guarding this rock, I think.
a guard doesn't do you a lot of good if there's still a draw path. We're seeing Team Plett take their time out here. They're really going to talk about this one.
She just missed it.
It looks like you could probably even have that rock anywhere in as a guard, 12-foot, 8-foot.
The thing with this is that if
line being the key.
ever light, you can guard that.
Yeah, I'm going to try and stay quiet here so we can listen in to David and the team. Might be able to get some insight.
On the out turn?
If you don't feel comfortable, let's just play the other return.
I like it. I just threw it.
Alrighty, it looks like Myla's going to play the draw, go wide draw to that 4-foot, which I really like because it's going to force Nicky, as you see, she came light on her second one. It's going to force her to come draw the other way, which they haven't played a ton of on that. They haven't played a ton on that side during this end. And it's going to be a guessing game out there.
Yeah, we got a 15-6.
That makes that practice draw that she just had
Yep, I like 15.
really not as useful for her next shot.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, not saying it's not going to be useful, but it's like you said, it's not as useful. It's a different path, different lines, so it's going to run a little different.
At this level, Red, is there a preference between in-turn, out-turn, or are they just really good at both?
You know what? Honestly, everybody has their preference, but they're so good at this level that I'm not giving any team any shot, even if it is their so-called less preferred turn.
Going a little deeper maybe than they wanted, but they had to go for line.
Yeah, a little deeper. So you see, Nicky, she's got a little bit of a hit and roll, so it kind of takes away the guessing game of the draw. Myla would have liked to have that top four to take away this hit and roll, because if she has a top four there, this hit and roll, you would have rolled too deep to be shot stone, but with it coming to the back of the four there, it's going to give Nicky a nice chance at this roll.
Little bit of backing on for her stone coming off the other red there for her hit.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a safety net.
Somebody be ready to roll it in. Yeah, we'll be
It's still a little bit of a guess on the line here. Like I said, they haven't played a lot down this side, so it's going to be a little slower and maybe curl a little earlier, but you kind of, by throwing a little more weight, you kind of take that out of the situation.
9-5. Weight's good.
Whoa. Close. Whoa. Whoa. Yes! Yes! Yes!
I'm going to jump on her a little bit. Catch the back
Makes
for
the
shot. What a shot for the final stone here in the 11th end. Nicky Kaufman going to hit and roll to take her one and to move on in the provincial championships here.
Oh, I just shook your hand.
Unfortunately, that means that Team Plett is going to be going home, but they have had such a week here in Rimbey and have had such a season. So,
thanks for the fun today, Rhett. Always a pleasure.
Yes, and you know what? We have the opportunity to pick our moment of the game presented by Sentinel Storage, and I think we'd be totally wrong not to pick that last shot there. A high pressure shot to take away the game and to
Look at the elbows.
keep alive throughout the provincial championship.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Claire looks
I couldn't agree more. Very well earned win by Team Kaufman.
Yeah, and it's been such a pleasure commentating with you and watching this great game. And for anyone listening or watching at home, all the games will be streamed here to Curling Zone or to the Curling Alberta YouTube channel via Curling Stadium. So thank you to all those guys. And yeah, thank you for sitting and talking with me throughout this great game.
Thanks, Rhett. Have a good one.
You as well.
Round them up, move them in. No place for your saddle and cowboy boots after the Calgary Stampede? At Sentinel Storage, we are proud to provide you with storage solutions that safeguard your valuables. Whether you're moving, renovating, or simply require extra space, we offer convenient and secure storage that caters to all needs. Find the Sentinel storage you need close to home. For a free estimate, visit sentinel.ca.
Play Curling Alberta's 50-50. Support grassroots curling and win big with daily draws and the Briar Final Mega Jackpot, now over $100,000 and growing. Please play responsibly.
Get this off of me somehow. Made it exciting. Interesting for the fans up there.
This is YouTube, not CBC. We don't give a.
That's great. Appreciate you.
I'll give you 3 or 4 F-bombs a game. They used to demonetize you for that, but they don't.
Yeah. Well, it's in YouTube got with the times.
The amount of ridiculous shit on YouTube these days, yeah, this is tame. A couple curlers, tame, fuck, whatever.